Imagine accidentally starting an entire harem just to avoid getting murdered. Yo, Manga Offload here. Today, we're diving into the chaotic story of a boy who just wanted to live a normal life, but got violently swept up into a paranormal rom-com. Don't forget to smash that like button, and let's get right into it. We open on a manga panel of a blonde girl throwing a massive tantrum, screaming that all successful people should explode and die. Zooming out, we reveal that this manga is being read by a mysterious figure draped in a dark cloak. The shadowy reader smirks, noting how wonderfully provocative that declaration is, the exact kind of tantrum that easily wins mass support. However, the dark figure whispers with a sinister smile. They don't realize it should be the other way around. Meet our MC, Kaoru Minaguchi. He's your totally average second-year middle schooler with absolutely nothing special going for him, except for his extreme obsession with shoujo manga. While he's engrossed in a volume, a group of boys spot him and start hurling insults. One guy loudly accuses Kaoru of being gay, all because Kaoru recently told him he had zero interest in building a harem. Another boy questions if he's just trying to act edgy. As they walk off, they confidently conclude Kaoru must be gay simply because he refuses to chase popularity. Naturally, constantly being called names means Kaoru is entirely friendless. Strolling down the school halls, Kaoru defends himself internally. Is it really that weird for a guy to read shoujo nowadays? He vehemently rejects his classmates' mindset. Guys shouldn't want a harem. They should purely love one single girl with all their heart, exactly like the heroes in true love shoujo manga. Filled with passion, he pumps his fists in the air, only to get caught red-handed by his teacher, Matsumoto-sensei. Kaoru instantly gets flustered, waving it off as nothing. Matsumoto smiles, saying he's glad Kaoru is enjoying his private life. But then his expression drops into a terrifying glare. He warns Kaoru to focus more on his academics, bluntly reminding him that he was the only student to fail their recent test. If the school offered remedial classes, Kaoru would undoubtedly be in them. So yeah, our boy isn't exactly a scholar either. Later, as Kaoru walks home, the existential dread sets in. He realizes he isn't in any clubs, lacks any athletic ability, zero special talents, and hasn't had a crush since the 4th grade. He starts sweating buckets. Is he one of society's so-called failures? He shudders, but quickly shakes it off. It's not like being a loser is a death sentence, right? Besides, maybe his own shoujo-style fateful encounter is waiting for him in the future. With a hopeful smile, he tells himself that being a failure is strictly temporary. Is that really true? The street goes dead silent. Kaoru glances over nervously, checking to see if she was talking to someone else. When she confirms she's talking to him, he's completely thrown off. He's never seen her before, and she isn't wearing his school uniform. Does she go to a different school? Before he can process anything, the girl steps uncomfortably close, asking if it's okay to ask him a question. But the only thing short-circuiting Kaoru's brain is how impossibly close and cute she is. When she straight up asks if he considers himself a successful person, Kaoru turns into a blushing, stammering mess. A girl has never been this close to him in his entire life. Failing to form a coherent sentence, he quickly backs away and literally makes a run for it, internally screaming that there's no way he can speak properly under those conditions. The girl just stands there, casually muttering, "So, that's how you react." Back at his house, Kaoru is intimately disappointed in himself. Normally, he can handle the bare minimum conversations with the girls in his class, but that proximity was absolute foul play. Still, he can't deny she was gorgeous. He sighs, realizing if he panics over something this simple, true love is basically a pipe dream. But the moment he steps further inside, the mysterious girl is standing right there. Kaoru violently freaks out. "So, this is your house, Kaoru-san," she asks politely to pardon her intrusion. And this absolute blockhead just tells her to come in. As she excitedly walks inside, Kaoru realizes his massive mistake. Despite being total strangers, she knows his exact name. Did they know each other in the past? Did she read a registry somewhere? When she asks where his room is, he directs her. Regardless, he figures there's no valid reason to force her out. She's well-mannered and doesn't seem dangerous. As he leads her to his bedroom, his romantic delusions kick in. Maybe this actually is his fateful encounter. Inside his room, the girl's eyes light up the second she spots his massive stacks of shoujo manga. She asks if he actually reads them. When nervously asking if she finds it girly, she completely reassures him, saying it's totally normal for guys to read shoujo, and admits she loves them too. She even gets nostalgic, picking up his Tenmu fruit basket merch. He's in heaven. Their tastes match flawlessly. It feels like destiny, but he still can't place her. An elementary school classmate? A forgotten childhood friend? He has no clue. Suddenly, the girl snaps out of it, remembering her actual objective. She looks Kaoru dead in the eye and asks, "You're a failure, right?" Confused as to why he has to answer that, Kaoru figures there's no reason to lie. Compared to successful people, he admits he'd definitely call himself a failure. The girl throws her hands up and shouts, "Yes!" She enthusiastically demands to know exactly what makes him a failure. Kaoru depressingly lists his flaws. He's friendless, a terrible student, unathletic, and zero special talents. When she asks about his love life, he admits it's non-existent. Flashing the brightest, most excited smile known to man, she gives him a massive thumbs up and dubs him a perfect failure. Kaoru gets visibly ticked off. Is she just enjoying his misery? She cheerfully confirms that yes, she very much is. But then she drops a critical piece of information. If he weren't a failure, she wouldn't have been able to enter his house. This catches Kaoru's attention. Even if they knew each other in the past, for a girl to willingly enter a guy's empty house, she wouldn't do that unless she had feelings for him, right? Kaoru's face flushes red as his heart pounds. Has his springtime of youth finally arrived? Nah, there's no way a miracle like that can happen. Suddenly, the girl slowly steps closer. "If you're a failure, then," she whispers. Kaoru is completely captivated. Things take a violently dark turn. Flashing a deeply sinister smile, she asks, "You wouldn't mind if I killed you, right?" Shink! She plunges a massive knife straight into his gut. Huh? Kaoru stares in sheer confusion at the blade piercing his body. Panic instantly overrides him as a massive pool of his own blood spills onto the floor. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Questioning if this is a nightmare, he begs to know why. The girl just stares down at him with a cold, dead smile. "I am a Grim Reaper," she states. She admits that normally he wouldn't believe her, but she couldn't care less since he'll be dead in a few minutes anyway. As Kaoru growls in agonizing pain, hovering at death's door, he asks why she chose him. She casually taps the bloody knife against his head, because failures should die. She explains her philosophy, comparing it to the afterlife logic seen in manga. Humanity is divided into two categories: the successful, who are useful to society, and the failures, who barely contribute anything. To ensure the progression of the successful, the Grim Reaper's strict policy is to eradicate the useless failures. Kaoru weakly argues that even failures can eventually become useful. The Reaper completely dismisses him, stating that their population is too small to matter. Cutting away the minority is just the normal human way of thinking, isn't it? She reasons. Kaoru's vision goes dangerously dark. Is he actually going to die here? Feeling utterly pathetic, he weakly mutters that at the very least, he wanted to change. He wanted to become a successful person in the future. The girl freezes. "What did you just say?" Suddenly, she shrieks in a total panic. She wildly swings her scythe, and in a flash of light, everything is undone. Kaoru stares in shock. His stab wound is completely gone. The Grim Reaper starts crying and aggressively pouting, yelling at him that he should have told her that beforehand. When Kaoru asks why she's yelling, she tearfully explains that if she calls a human who has active plans to become a success, she gets hit with a massive salary penalty. Since she's only on an entry-level salary, merely dying wouldn't be an adequate apology. Kaoru, still reeling, points out that he thought he actually died because of all the blood. The Reaper explains that it was merely a hyper-realistic illusion projected by her scythe. The weapon sucks out souls, and making the victim actively feel themselves dying makes it much easier to peel the soul away from the flesh. She tells him that she really is a Grim Reaper. Kaoru immediately assures her he fully believes she's a Reaper now. She glares at him, demanding to know if his claim about becoming successful was true. Kaoru hesitates, but realizes his answer dictates whether he lives or dies. He decides to take the safest road possible and boldly guarantees he will absolutely become a successful person. She immediately demands the details: where, when, how. Sweating under the pressure, Kaoru lies through his teeth. He claims it will happen tomorrow. He invents a story about a girl he has a great thing going with, saying he plans to confess and has a very high chance of becoming her boyfriend. Internally, Kaoru is questioning his own sanity. He hasn't liked a girl since the 4th grade. The Reaper accepts the terms, but warns him she'll be watching closely. If he fails to become a success by tomorrow, he needs to prepare himself. She effortlessly leaps out of his window, leaving Kaoru alone to curse his own idiocy for setting the bar so impossibly high. Regret is useless now. His life is on the line. He resolves to pray for a miracle and confess to some girl tomorrow. The next day on the school roof, Kaoru anxiously awaits his fate. His grand, miracle-dependent master plan, he sent out a love letter. As the requested meeting time passes, he begins to lose hope, assuming whoever received it is probably just insulting him behind his back. But then, footsteps approach. A girl asks if he's the Kaoru who sent the letter. He stands up, absolutely stunned that someone actually showed up, and confirms it's him. She thanks him for the letter, and Kaoru braces for her answer. But when she says that they don't really know each other, he takes this as a classic roundabout rejection, fully understanding that getting confessed to by a total stranger is usually considered creepy. But in a massive twist of fate, she blushes and says she thinks it would be completely fine for them to get to know each other by dating. She quickly gets flustered, asking if he hates the idea of not taking things too seriously right away. Kaoru, with his actual life on the line, aggressively confirms he doesn't mind at all as long as they go out. The girl eagerly suggests they start doing things lovers do, but it turns out she just meant exchanging contact info. As she leaves, Kaoru throws his hands up in ultimate victory. He did it! He got a girlfriend. He's officially a successful person, and he doesn't have to die. He's one step closer to true love. I read your letter. Kaoru violently freezes. A second girl, wearing glasses, steps onto the roof and declares that she's also willing to be in a relationship with him. Kaoru, wearing an entirely emotionless, dead-eyed smile, takes her contact info as she leaves. Then a third girl appears, agreeing to go out with him. He gets her contact info and she leaves. Then a fourth girl steps up, saying she'd love to go out with him. Kaoru, still completely deadpan, gets her info too. Suddenly, the Grim Reaper materializes out of thin air. She stares at him with absolute disgust. So, this is what Kaoru meant when he said he'd become successful. A shocking turn of events, even for a Grim Reaper. Quadruple timing? You are an inconceivably terrible man. Kaoru completely loses his mind. He yells that she's wrong and it wasn't supposed to end up like this. He assumed his chances of success were literally zero, so to save his own life, he spammed love letters to the 4 girls whose full names he actually knew, praying it would raise his survival odds. And now, thanks to an ungodly miracle, this shoujo-loving purist is an accidental quadruple-diming scumbag. He begs to know if this still counts as being successful, and she confirms it does, but he's still a terrible human being. Kaoru internally rationalizes that once the Reaper leaves, he'll just quickly apologize and cut off 3 of the relationships. But then the Reaper shatters his hopes. She informs him she still has 3 months until her soul-culling deadline, and she's been wanting to sightsee in Akihabara anyway. Finally, introducing herself as Airi, she cheerfully tells him she's more than willing to wait 3 months for him to inevitably return to his life as a failure, since a 4-way relationship is guaranteed to blow up soon anyway. Kaoru stands there, utterly terrified. For the next 3 months, Airi is going to hover over him. He has to somehow maintain this quadruple timing nightmare, even though he absolutely despises harems. He considers just dumping one of them to reduce the load, but Airi quickly points out the fatal flaw. If he breaks up with one, rumors will instantly spread. The other girls will hear about it, think they were being two-timed, and dump him too. Kaoru realizes the horrific truth. He can't carelessly break up with them, he can't get caught, and right now, he genuinely just wants to die. Yo, Manga Offload here! Since you've made it this far into the video, why not hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to help me reach my 300 sub goal? Alright, back to the story. The next chapter kicks off with Kaoru looking like a MAPPA animator who just watched his boss greenlight a new anime. He honestly can't believe this is happening. After all, he's a guy who prefers true love, the kind you see in royalty-type shoujo manga, where even if troubles arise, it always ends with the couple living happily ever after. Kaoru finds that kind of pure love wonderful, but right now, he's quadruple timing. We finally get more info on his new harem. First up, Yui Kobayakua, a third-year middle schooler. She's the successful newcomer idol and easily the #1 most popular girl in school, especially among the guys. Second, Lisa Umikai, a second-year middle schooler. She's Kaoru's class president, calm, collected, and relentlessly dependable. Guys and girls alike rely on her. Third, Emily Ogawara, a first-year middle schooler. She's the absolute epitome of a rich, high-class daughter. Countless guys have fallen victim to her sweet looks. And last, but definitely not least, Aoi Sawatari, also a second year. She's the hyper-athletic ace of the swim team. Thanks to her bright personality, she's universally popular. Even a total loner like Kaoru knows exactly who they are. Girls this pretty could be the poster children for his entire school, and somehow all 4 of them are dating him? Kaoru internally screams, wondering what kind of trashy harem manga he's been dragged into. But unfortunately, this is reality. Walking up the stairs to his room, Kaoru ponders how to fix this. There's a massive limit to how unhealthy this quadruple timing can get. To maintain his successful status and keep his life, he thinks about secretly dumping 3 of them. Plan A? Show them a terrible side of himself, making them hate him so much they're too embarrassed to admit they ever dated him. Okay, Plan A is out. Plan B? Make them fall for another guy. Yeah, he quickly realizes that's gonna backfire horribly too. He cowers in absolute despair. Breaking up is far too risky, and if he tries to tell them a Grim Reaper is threatening his life, they'll just think he's insane. As he starts getting undressed in his room, he mutters about just running away into the night, but he stops. He has no idea where the Reaper might be watching from. Right on cue, he spots her casually spying on him from his half-open closet. Kaoru violently panics as she flashes him a cheerful thumbs up, commenting that his reaction is just like something out of a Living Together manga. The roles are reversed here, Kaoru yells, demanding to know why she's lurking in his closet. Airi politely bows, saying she'll be in his care. Kaoru is confused until he looks past her and realizes the back of his closet is now a fully furnished room. He freaks out. Airi happily explains that she magically connected her room from the Grim Reaper world directly to his. She dances in delight, celebrating how convenient her commute is now. Kaoru sighs. She's a Grim Reaper. He shouldn't be that surprised. Airi coldly adds that it's much easier to keep an eye on him, so he shouldn't bother trying to run away. Kaoru flinches. She heard him. Despite acting like she has a few screws loose, she leaves absolutely no loopholes. The scene shifts. Kaoru is lounging on his bed, hardcore gaming. Airi struts in, cosplaying as a magical girl, and warns him that it would be highly inconvenient for her if he just died on his own. Kaoru brushes her off, bragging that he joined a guild today so he won't die like he did when he was playing solo. "I'm not talking about online games," Airi snaps. She reminds him he's already skipped 3 days of school and suggests he visit a doctor if he feels unwell. She absolutely refuses to let him die before she gets to call his soul. Kaoru triumphantly announces that he's actually feeling incredible. In fact, skipping school for 3 days has completely cured his usual fatigue. Plus, his parents totally bought his excuse that he has a cold. Airi looks confused, asking if healthy young people in this world are strictly required to go to school. With sparkles in his eyes, Kaoru proudly declares, "I am going to become the neat king." Airi deadpans, asking if that's his official declaration of being a failure of a human being. Kaoru suddenly jumps up. He's realized something massive. Quadruple timing is fundamentally impossible. Airi looks surprised he's only just figuring this out. Kaoru explains his flawless logic. Since all 4 girls go to the same school, if he so much as talks to one of them, the others will definitely know about it. Therefore, his brilliant strategy is to hole up in his room and wait out the entire 3 months as a shut-in without ever meeting them. He smugly tells Airi not to wait around for his soul. Airi just silently stares at him, which instantly makes him nervous. He asks if being a shut-in automatically makes him a failure. Airi pouts and clarifies that as long as he successfully keeps up the appearance of dating, he still counts as a success. Kaoru's face lights up. His strategy is foolproof. He immediately dives back into his games, praising his online guildmate Airi for always being so dependable. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Kaoru jumps up, assuming the manga he ordered has finally arrived. Skipping to the door, he rejoices about how ridiculously fun his daily life is. No studying, staying home all day to game, and full access to Amazon deliveries. This is true paradise. He rips open the door. Bam! Standing right in front of him is his class president and girlfriend number 2, Lisa. Kaoru is absolutely paralyzed with shock. Lisa bluntly notes that he doesn't look well. Kaoru is internally screaming, wondering why on earth she is here. She calmly explains that since he's been absent for 3 days, she was worried and came to check on him. Kaoru realizes with a heavy heart that, yeah, she is technically his girlfriend. Of course she'd come check on her sick boyfriend. He tries to play it cool, saying it's just a cold and he's already recovering. Lisa asks if his parents are home, and when he says they're at work, she looks visibly disappointed. Kaoru sweats, wondering if she was actually planning to formally introduce herself. Suddenly, Lisa tries to step inside. Kaoru wildly blocks her path. When she asks why, he counters, asking why she's trying to come in. She replies that it's only natural for a girlfriend to take care of her partner. Kaoru's anxiety spikes. If one of the other girls shows up right now, he is completely doomed. He has to get her to leave. Putting on his best acting performance, Kaoru tells her he doesn't want her to catch his cold, claiming he'd be sick with guilt if she fell ill because of him. But Lisa is one step ahead. Completely expecting that excuse, she whips out a surgical mask and slaps it on, just what you'd expect from the relentlessly prepared class president. Defeated, Kaoru sighs and lets her in, resolving to do whatever it takes to get her out quickly. But just as they step inside, Airi, now dressed in a full maid outfit, pops out and cheerfully greets Lisa, asking if she's a friend of her older brother. Kaoru completely loses his mind. He totally forgot about Airi. Why is she acting like his sister? Airi asks if Airi is Kaoru's little sister. Airi beams. Yes, thank you, Lisa, for taking care of him. When Lisa asks about the maid outfit, Airi says it's just a souvenir from Akiba. Kaoru is sweating bullets, terrified his quadruple timing is about to be violently exposed. Airi cheekily pushes Lisa toward Kaoru's bedroom.
The second Lisa's back is turned, Kaoru flash steps over to Irie, furiously whispering. He accuses her of breaking her promise to just observe, demanding to know if she's planning to sabotage him. Irie casually admits she would love to reveal his secret, but she literally can't. Grim Reapers have a strict cosmic rule. They cannot say anything that directly destroys their target's relationships. If they break it, their vocal cords get magically ripped out. Irie violently shudders just thinking about it. Kaoru is relieved she can't snitch, but demands to know why she's playing the little sister role. Irie just asks if he thinks it's cute. Kaoru bluntly says absolutely not. Back in his bedroom, Lisa sits formally on the floor, observing his space. Kaoru feels incredibly awkward having a popular girl from his class just sitting in his room. Lisa asks why he isn't resting in bed, mentioning the teacher said he had a severe cold. Kaoru reiterates he's basically fully recovered and has no fever. Lisa sighs in genuine relief. Kaoru realizes she was actually deeply worried about him. He looks at her. Even with the surgical mask on, she is undeniably beautiful. She has top grades, she's cool-headed, and she is universally trusted. She's a perfect beauty, which makes it incredibly weird that she'd date him, the guy everyone actively mocks. And the other three girls are exactly the same. He begins wildly theorizing. Are they all secretly working together to pull a massive, cruel prank on him? He resolves to find out exactly why she said yes to his confession. He knows that depending on her answer, they might break up, and his life will instantly be in danger, but he has to know the truth. Suddenly, Lisa looks at him and asks a dead serious question. How do you take care of your sexual desires? Huh? Kaoru completely freezes. Assuming he misheard her through the mask, he asks her to repeat it. Lisa slowly pulls down her mask, looks him dead in the eye, and repeats it verbatim. How do you take care of your sexual desires? Kaoru turns bright red. He can't believe the strict, no-nonsense class president just asked him that. She casually scoots closer, demanding an answer. She notes his room is impeccably organized, so he clearly isn't hiding physical stash magazines. She deduces it must be digital, either on his phone or the laptop sitting on his bed. She reaches for the laptop, asking to take a look. Kaoru violently fights back, screaming that there's nothing to feel guilty about. Lisa counters that if he has nothing to hide, he shouldn't mind her checking. Kaoru screams no and grabs her shoulders, desperately trying to stop the invasion of privacy. Suddenly, Lisa slips, and they both tumble to the floor in a classic generic rom-com trope. Kaoru blushes furiously as he catches a whiff of her shampoo. He frantically apologizes, but Lisa, face flushed red, whispers that if he likes it that much, She suddenly pulls something out of her bag and slaps Kaoru in the face with an envelope. Confused, Kaoru asks what it is. Lisa states it's a get-well present she bought specifically for him. He nervously opens it, and it is a hardcore Gooner magazine. Lisa, completely straight-faced, explains that since she didn't know his specific preferences, she just picked one at random. Kaoru asks if she bought this herself. Lisa nods, explaining that according to her beginner's love manual, satisfying a partner's sexual appetite is crucial for ensuring a lengthy relationship. Kaoru is too stunned to speak. Lisa misinterprets his shock as a creepy grin and nervously asks if the girl on the cover is to his liking. Kaoru vehemently denies it. He awkwardly tells her that it's just like her to diligently study even a topic like love from a textbook, and he admits he actually finds her earnestness kind of cute. Lisa immediately gets flustered and turns away. She thinks he's mocking her for only being book smart, but Kaoru denies it. Lisa quietly admits she's never been in a relationship before. She has absolutely no idea what she's supposed to do, but she desperately wants their relationship to last as long as possible. The truth hits Kaoru like a freight train. He is Lisa's very first boyfriend. He internally screams in agony, apologizing to her and the other three girls. Their boyfriend is a terrified, quadruple-timing scumbag. The crushing weight of guilt settles in. His life might be on the line, but these 4 girls are spending a crucial part of their youth sincerely dating a fraud. He desperately wants to confess everything and end the lie, but he just doesn't want to die. Seeing him looking miserable, Lisa worries his cold is returning. Her genuine concern just makes him feel infinitely worse. She could easily find a much better boyfriend than him. He quietly apologizes to her, but she gently says it's okay, because they are lovers. Wearing an expression of immense guilt, Kaoru makes a quiet resolve. He decides to do everything in his power to make up for his lies. He awkwardly asks to borrow her love manual. When she warns him there's nothing erotic in it, he clarifies he genuinely wants to study up on how to be a good partner. He knows it's incredibly selfish, but he resolves to act like the absolute perfect boyfriend for the next 3 months. He wants to ensure that, even if it's based on a lie, they are happy while it lasts. And when the 3 months are up, he promises to confess everything and take the massive fallout. Lisa smiles warmly, holding out the magazine for him to keep, which he frantically refuses. Before the misunderstanding can escalate, Irie knocks and enters, bringing them tea and homemade cakes to get too acquainted. Lisa politely thanks her, while Kaoru internally calls himself a massive idiot. He was so panicked, it never even crossed his mind to serve his own girlfriend tea. He grudgingly thanks Irie, never imagining he'd be thanking the Reaper trying to murder him. But then, Kaoru notices something standing right behind his bedroom door. It's Yui, girlfriend number 1. Kaoru's heart violently drops into his stomach. Irie cheerfully mentions she forgot to tell him that Yui was wandering around the front door, so Irie just let her right in. Lisa politely greets Yui, saying it's nice to meet her. Kaoru is absolutely paralyzed with terror. This is not nice at all. Yui asks to enter, and Irie aggressively drags her inside, telling her not to be a stranger. Kaoru finally understands Irie's true, terrifying game. She isn't allowed to destroy his relationships with her words, so she plans to directly interfere. Sinking into absolute despair, Kaoru realizes there is a very, very high chance he is going to die today. And with that massive cliffhanger, the chapter and this recap come to an end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment part 2 if you want to see how Kaoru survives this absolute nightmare. And while you're here, why not check out my other recaps? Catch you in the next one.